Senator, Senator King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General, congratulations on your nomination. We've discussed, almost every member of this panel has discussed the importance of giving straight advice to the President and the Secretary of Defense. These are two very strong personalities. The Oval Office is probably the most intimidating room in the world. And I hope you'll reiterate, you mentioned you owe it to them to give you the best advice. You also owe it to the country that you give them the best advice. You mentioned to me when we discussed this before, you have been retired, you didn't expect this job, you don't need this job. Give me your straight-ahead commitment that when the chips are down, you're going to argue for your best military advice.
Senator, I don't know any other way to operate as a leader. Is my job, if confirmed, is to always provide best military advice to the President, the Secretary of the NSC, and to Congress, and to do so with candor every day.
That as everybody has mentioned, particularly Senator Rounds mentioned, that this is really the principal responsibility of the job. And we're in a very dangerous moment. As you know, there are potential conflicts and conflicts all over the world. So you're going to be called upon probably in the matter of weeks to make these kind of calls and to provide that advice to the President. So I look forward to your honoring that commitment that you just made and making clear, not only providing advice, that sounds sort of neutral, but advocating for advice, saying this is what we believe the best military advice is. Let me move on. It worries me sometimes that we have a tendency, particularly in national security, to move our focus from one area to the other, and then we neglect the area that we're missing. What I'm very worried about now is a resurgence of terrorism. Syria potentially could become another base for ISIS. There are thousands of ISIS fighters in jails in Syria. If they're released, that could be a major challenge. West Africa is now a major area of al-Qaeda activity. Talk to me about the terrorism threat and the fact that we can't forget it because 19 people changed American history on September 11th, and it doesn't take many terrorists to create serious problems for this country and for people around the world.
Well, sir, I think I don't know that I could say it any better than you just did. We have to keep our pressure on the terrorists who would continue to
Can you be sure that you got that in the record, what he just said? Go ahead.
It's not something, Senator, unfortunately, that we can ever take our eyes off of completely. The challenge that somebody who would want to do harm to us or to our interests around the world is not going to go away anytime soon.
And one of the concerns that I have, we always talk about deterrence. That's the mainspring of our defense strategy. But deterrence doesn't work with a terrorist with a nuclear weapon. They don't have a capital to blow up. They don't care about dying. The defense against that eventuality, which I think is absolutely terrifying, is intelligence. And I hope that you will continue to focus the forces in the Pentagon on intelligence and intervening if there's any threat of nuclear material getting into the hands of a terrorist organization.
Yes, sir.
Finally, in terms of your leadership within the military, and I know that you're a passionate advocate for our warfighters. One of the things that concerns me, and I'm going from this meeting to a meeting of the Veterans Affairs Committee, is the transition from active duty military to retired, which you have experienced. And the testimony that we've had at numerous hearings is it's inadequate. It's improved in recent years, but there's still gaps that it's very complex, and military active duty people going into veteran status. It turns out it's the highest propensity for suicide in the first couple of years after the transition from active duty. So I hope that's something that you will pay some attention to. I believe that as much money, effort, and time should be spent on transition out as we spend on recruiting in.
Well, Senator, it is a bit of an arduous process. I can personally attest to that. And so I appreciate your leadership on helping the veterans of the nation to transition appropriately. And it is an area of risk for sure. And I'll keep my eye on it if confirmed.
I hope you will. Thank you very much, General, and again, congratulations on your nomination.
Thank
on this
you,
solemn
Senator.
obligation. Thank you.
Senator